Hello YouTube. This video is about this empty space right here. It used to be filled with a 6-cylinder motor and a sub-chassis with independent suspension on it. We've changed all that. Now we have a straight axle underneath the front with no subframe, and instead of the 6-cylinder motor we have a 454. So we need to fortify this front end. So we're going to make a brace that runs from here to here and a brace that runs from here to here. The first thing you need to know is that this frame is upside down. So right now this is actually the bottom. And the next thing is that it's what's called a hat channel frame. It's essentially a box frame from the factory, and it has a lip right here that extends beyond the bottom of the frame. What I've done is outlined the frame with tape. And I'm going to lay paper over the top of that tape, and we're going to make a template of this whole front clip. What we'll do is lay paper across the top of that tape because the sticky side is up, and then carefully trim along the lip of the hat channel, and the tape will outline the actual angles of the frame, and we can cut our braces from those angles. I found that metal fabrication is all about removing material that you don't want. And in this case, we don't want all this paper. So we'll just cut it off and it goes away. Now what do we have? We have a center line marked. We've got the 2 locations of the engine mount marked, and we've marked off 3 inches off from our center line. So we're proposing that we take a 2x3 beam, and this is 2 inches wide. So it would look something like that. Let's cut off some more material that we don't need. We'll refine our cut, but we can lift this paper up and cut 90 degrees to the tape that's underneath. Here we are removing the last piece of the excess paper for the pattern. This is what our pattern looks like now that we've removed all the excess pieces of paper. What we have to do now is carefully remove the pattern from the frame. So here we go, that's the last piece, and it's free. This is the pattern that we just cut out from the frame. We have marked on it where the base plates for the engine mounts are. We have a center line, and we have marked 3 inches off the center line where we'd like to end our 2x3 tube. If we take a piece of metal that's 2 inches wide and lay it at the 3 inch and across where the base plate is for the engine mount, we find that the tubing is going to cover more than the engine mount, so this cut is going to be more intricate than what we first thought. This is our first pattern. Yes, I drew wrong lines on the pattern. This side was okay. We had commented that this was going to be a difficult angle. This was a design for 2x3 box tubing. We went so far as to cut one out, just to test one. This is the test piece that we made up, and it sort of fits. It has an interference with the steering gearbox. It also has an interference with the motor mounts. And quite frankly, it's just too big. So we're going to step it down. Now we can go to a 2x2, but it would have the same footprint as the 2x3. So we have to go to a 1x2. So we made ourselves a new template, and we got ourselves some 1x2 tubing, and if we lay that on there, that 3 inch mark there, and the rear of the engine mount, we find that this angle is now just a straight angle, and it all lands on top of the engine mount plate. Let's draw some new lines on our new pattern. What we wanted to do is make a template of this angle and transfer that to a piece of steel. So what we'll do is take some tape and line it up with our mark. Flip our pattern over. And cut it out with an X-Acto knife. Now we have the angle that we need to put on the tube. We'll carefully take the tape off. And stick it on our tube. Now we can go cut this out. Let's cut our angle. I've had straighter cuts, but this one is not bad. With our cutoff piece, we can see how this is going to fit on the engine mount, and it's a nice fit. And we can rotate it to get a good angle for the front core support, and we can move it back and forth. So this is a good location. It's not obstructing the steering gearbox bolt, so we can move forward. I've laid out the first cross member. The angle that we made from the pattern that we made with tape is darn close. We can go ahead and cut this back angle. This is the pattern in reverse, and what we need now is this angle here, and we'll get that angle the same way we got this angle, only we're going to make it a 1/2 inch longer so that I have room for grinding here in case the frame is not quite level. I can grind some off and still have a good fit here. It's better to have too much material than not enough. We've carefully placed our new brace underneath our pattern, lined up the end down here. What I'm going to do is mark it a 1/2 inch proud of where we need to do the cut, and I'm going to peel this template off and put it on our piece here. And that'll leave me room for adjustments. Here's our first test fit. Remember, this is the bottom side. And I'd say it's a pretty good fit. What we need to do is shorten it up about a 1/2 inch. And it wobbles a little bit, so we're gonna have to do some grinding to get it to sit flat. But I think we're in good shape. We have the brackets clamped in place, and the angles are looking good. We have nice tight joints. We're ready for welding. Here we are welding in the front braces. Here we have the brackets tacked in place. I think they'll do what we intend them to do. All that's left of this project is to final weld these into place. I won't keep you around for that. If you enjoyed this video, there'll be more.